Hail and welcome back to When the Night Comes. I'm Agent of Mischief. Let's jump on back into it, shall we? Town is small, very small, and it takes me less than an hour to walk it from end to end. On my travels, I find myself drawn to the cemetery, and the scent of blood is thick there. That would be because it's the site of the last murder. I come across a patch of scorched grass, the earth around it trampled by the boots of enforcers and hunters alike. The remnants of a crumbled gravestone are littered around the perfect black outline of body, and I take a deep breath, crouching down to skim my fingers along the edges. I close my eyes and try to picture it, what happened to them. But it's hard to truly see knowing how stark the darkness is here. It's a blur, a mere memory, but I feel terror. They were so scared, utterly alone in their final moments. Something sticks out to me all of that fear. I'm sorry. I love you. The words hit me hard, my chest aching, and I feel intense longing. I feel love. The powerful and unconditional kind that snatches the air from your lungs. I take a deep breath and force myself to stand, trying to shake the feeling. I'll find out who killed you. I'm startled by the sudden sound of heavy footsteps, my hands hovering over my weapon. I look around frantically on guard and ready, and then a striking figure appears. He's clad in fine clothing, his hair tied in a long, neat ponytail, the crown of his head adorned with delicate jewelry, and I should be unsettled. The pointed teeth and sharp holes indicating he's definitely not human, but he's smiling. And the flicker of a spade-tipped tail tells me all I need to know. I'm staring at a glamour demon. Though I find it hard to be alarmed by his presence, what seems to be a theme here in Lunaris. His eyes are warm chestnut brown, and they sparkle in the dappled sunlight as he gazes at me in wonder.
Hello, Hunter. I've been looking forward to meeting you.
You have? You've been expecting me? I watched his cheeks darken, his gaze dropping to the grass.
Well, people talk and I listen. And they've done a lot of talking about you. I hope I didn't scare you.
Well, he's certainly not like any other demon I've encountered. The not trying to kill me part helps. I dig his outfit. I'm not sure what you call his little accessory there that he's wearing on his head, but that looks dope as hell. You didn't, it's okay.
You're sure? I've gotten used to startling people.
I'm used to dudes who look like demons, like my boy Nightcrawler. Promise you that I've seen scarier. He laughs, his tail flicking. Well, I'm certain you have. Zora has calmed down a little skittish, and I'm certain he's probably more scared of me than I am him. He's still hard to read, though, and that's frustrating but not necessarily alarming. What's your name? The demon exhales sharply, apparently relieved that I'm making conversation rather than drawing my weapon.
It's Omen.
Ooh, Omen's a cool name for a demon. You've got to be kidding me. I feel a smile curling at the corners of my lips. Are you a good omen or a bad one? His lashes flicker, and I quickly realize he may not be versed in bad jokes. Aye, what? Oh, don't worry. It's nice to meet you, Omen. I'm Raven. So how has your first day in Lunaris been? I have a quiet laugh, yet again perplexed by the wonderfully weird inhabitants of this town. He's certainly the most polite demon I've ever met. I guess it's been fine. I'm just a little overwhelmed. This is a strange town, isn't it? Omen laughed, sound musical and almost infectious, causing my own smile to widen.
You're being polite. It's more than strange. It's a mess. A mess I and many others hope you can fix.
I grimaced, my gaze drifting back down to the place where the last murder victim lay. I sigh and muster as much confidence as I possibly can. I can do this. I can solve these murders. So absolutely no pressure, then? Owen shrugs playfully.
No pressure at all. Welcome to Lunaris.
I make it to the enforcement headquarters with time to spare after August's thinly veiled threat about tardiness yesterday. I had a terrible night's sleep on scratchy sheets, and I couldn't possibly feel less ready to face my less than friendly superior. There's my fist knock on the door, but the muffled conversation that I hear coming from inside has me hesitating. It sounds heated, and I glance at the clock on the wall behind me to check the time. I have 1 minute before I'm sure General Willenheim will admonish me for being late. So, take a deep breath and I knock. The voice stops suddenly. I hear a clack of heels, and then... Yes? Oh, it's you. I quickly glanced at the clock.
Well, you're on time, at least. Congratulations. I know it's terribly cozy out there, but please come in.
I nodded politely and quickly stepped into the enforcer's office. It's beautifully decorated with neatly arranged bookcases lining the walls that are laden with a collection of trinkets and tomes that possibly rival Ezra's. There's a huge desk in the middle that overflows with reports and letters, and a half-empty ink pot and elegant sapphire quill poised and ready. And as if I'm experiencing a rather vivid case of deja vu, Piper appears before me, looking decidedly less impressed than she did in the tavern yesterday.
Hunter?
Hunter Adams? Hello, Piper. It's nice to see you. She stares at me, her eyes narrow as her gaze flickers to August, who stands quietly just behind me. Their hands are clasped behind their back, a dark eyebrow quirked almost expectantly. Piper frowns at them, her nose crinkling before she swiftly turns her attention back to me. Yes, you too. I offer her a smile, but the one she offers in return doesn't quite meet her eyes. I appreciate the effort nonetheless. So you two have met already, hmm? In the tavern again, were you, Piper? August sighs heavily when we both fail to respond, and Piper manages to look anywhere but her superior. Anyway, they run their hand along the edge of their desk, inspecting their perfectly dust-free fingertips as Piper huffs in their general direction.
I know you have very important business to attend to, but I'm not finished with you yet, Willenheim.
Is that so?
I've given you your mission, you've complained about it, loudly. So, pray tell, Major, what else could there possibly be?
Piper flinches and I see her demeanor shift, her admirable determination withering and dying as that word rolls off August's tongue. Harsh reminder of her demotion, and one that clearly stings. I wonder if I'll ever get the chance to ask her about it, to finally know exactly what she did that warranted her being made such an example of.
Nice, August. Really nice.
You quite literally cut the tension in here with a dull-bladed dagger. It's not awkward at all. We have a meeting, General? August sighs, glancing at Piper almost guiltily, but the sorry expression fades the second she meets their gaze. Yes, we do. Is that everything for today, Merriman? Is it every... I wasn't asked. Ugh. They take a deep breath, pinching the bridge of their nose between their forefinger and thumb. We're dismissed for today, Merriman. They stare each other down. I wonder how the hell they ever managed to become one of the most successful elimination teams in all of Escria. I've heard countless weird and wonderful tales of their partnership, of Piper's unparalleled strength and August's unmatched intelligence. But here? Now? All I see is a spirited hunter and an impossibly tired enforcer. Harry is on his way. I suggest you depart quickly.
Shit.
She blanches to that, and I can almost see her admitting defeat. Her shoulders relax and the fur on her brow fades.
Fine. I'll go and look for your possibly a small chimera, but probably a big fucking cat. One day you'll have to stop punishing me, you know.
Piper grabs a set of expensive-looking daggers from the chair in front of the desk, dropping them to her back with haste. She pauses in front of me, and those dark eyes softens as she meets my gaze.
See you around, Hunter. Enjoy your important meeting, and remember what I said. Foot. Ass.
She chances another glance at August, and I suddenly become very interested in studying their perfectly manicured nails. With a wink, she then fully faced August, squaring up to them playfully. Enforcer towers above her, still uncaring, still unbothered. Twat! With that, she turns on her heel and slams starts so hard it shakes in its frame. August walks around the back of their desk, practically falling into the well-used leather chair. I have to... I think she has to be British, and maybe he'll be, they'll be, Surfer Dude doesn't work for the personality, but I just think it would be funny. I scanned the piles upon piles of paperwork that littered the surface, taking in the countless reports that letters, scribbling diagrams, and gruesome drawings. I get the impression August is in over their head. The disorder of all this information makes my fingers twitch. They watch me carefully, stifling yawn with a trembling hand. I know. Trust me, I know. As much as I hate to admit it, we've got nothing. As of right now, I suspect everyone in this town, as should you. Though I might not really know them yet, I sense this kind of vulnerability I'm seeing is rare. August doesn't strike me as the type to admit defeat so easily, and something more serious than the usual stress of the job seems to be lingering under the surface. After what I witnessed back in Ezra's shop, I can't help but wonder what they were like before all this. The way the young witch looked at them. It was pity. Ezra pitied August. August huffs quite a laugh and relaxes back in their chair, and for the first time since we met, they seem to let their guard down.
I don't know why Harry decided you were the right person for this job above all others, but I trust him implicitly. So, whatever plan he has for you, we had better make it work.
They paused, staring me down with those ice blue eyes. Now are you ready to begin? I feel impatient and restless. I'm practically crawling out of my skin as I sit in this chair. Surely I should be out there already talking and gathering evidence. What's the first step? Alex flicks through a document covered in an elegant looping script, barely glancing up at me when they speak. You meet Harry. Harry tells us both what to do, and we do it. They chuck the papers aside, watching as they slide across the desk to join the rest of the jumbled reports. Now that's too close to the voice I gave Finn. I stare them down perplexed. They really have nothing for me, no brief before I meet the most important man in Escria? That's it? August shrugs, nods. That's it. I suspect Harry will be looking to take full advantage of your fresh, unbiased eyes. Everything here is too close to this. A stranger is exactly what we need now.
Look, I don't know how you're used to doing things, but throw all of that out the window. Everything changes. Here. Now.
I hear footsteps in the hallway, and August quickly rises to their feet. They straighten their clothing and tie their sash a little tighter. I follow their lead and move to stand by their side, my heart hammering triple time in my chest as those footsteps roll nearer. There's a distinct clang of metal, of body and heavy boots, of armor and heavy boots. The door swings open and an imposing figure enters the room. His gaze flickers between myself and August, his expression stern and almost emotionless. I've heard many tales about Harold Editing the Third, and he stares before me, I feel. And as he stands before me, I feel a certain sense of pride that he would choose to summon me to deal with such a vital case. He's adorned in the standard enforcer colors of black and gold, but his outfit is far more regal than any of the higher rank officials I've seen. A wide smile breaks out across his scarred lips, and he pulls August into a tight embrace, a deep, comforting chuckle rumbling in his chest.
Old friend, how the devil are you? It's been a while. Too long, I say.
Damn, he sounds like Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't think I can do that voice. He pulls away, firmly holding onto August's shoulders. You look exhausted. Have you not been sleeping? August offers a wry smile as Harry drops his hands. That was somehow Irish and Russian. Fuck. I'm trying to sleep. Does that count? Harry throws them a look, something stern but edged with a certain fondness. One that a father might give to their child.
Look after yourself, Augustus.
It's not even August, it's Augustus. Oof. August nods once, still smiling as Harry turns to stand before me.
Hunter, it's such a pleasure to meet you. I can finally put a face to all those impressive reports I've read.
He offers me his hand and I eagerly take it. It's a pleasure to meet you too, Lieutenant General Addington, sir. He smiles warmly, keeping his grip on my hand, his other holding my forearm.
Harry is fine. None of that formal nonsense. If we're going to be working together for the foreseeable future, we might as well get familiar, wouldn't you agree?
Of course, sir. Harry? He laughs and I feel incredibly relaxed in his presence. Now let's get to business, shall we? August hands him a standard issue file sealed with wax bearing the Scarlet Enforcer emblem. They watch me carefully as Harry breaks the seal, a heavy sigh falling from his lips as he quickly scans the report. He closes his eyes, handing the papers back to August before he turns his back to us both. Silent moment passes and Harry rounds his shoulders, clicking his neck before he faces us.
You know, I've worked for the Enforcers for nearly 30 years, and I've never felt quite so useless. We've lost some of our best, our brightest, kindest.
Harry Harry pauses, waver in his voice evident as he composes himself.
I am truly at a loss, and I'm finding it hard to remove my emotions from the equation when it's my own people being needlessly slaughtered.
August averts their gaze, stealing a quick glance at me, seemingly assessing my reaction, but also giving Harry a moment of privacy.
Nothing can bring them back, but we can bring those responsible to justice.
Suddenly it hits me. The victims were hunters, weren't they?
Yes, they were hunters, just like you.
Harry has a quiet laugh, clearing his throat.
I know we're putting a great deal of responsibility on your shoulders, but I have never-ending faith that you're the one who can help end this madness. Do you have any questions?
Other than the timing of the murders, are there any patterns I should be aware of? Harry's mouth switches into a grimace and he shakes his head. I hope you don't think ill of me, but I'd rather not tell you at this point. You and August share a look, and August seems perplexed by the statement. Harry. Harry places his hand upon August's shoulder. A reassuring touch, a smile, and he's looking back at me. Please just trust me, both of you. I want you to go out there and see things with your own eyes. Utilize your abilities. Then we can discuss what we've already discovered. It's a complex case with many intricacies, but it's important that you don't let our opinions cloud your judgment. As terrifying as baffling as this may seem, I see where Harry is coming from. I don't want to be influenced by an investigation that's so obviously failing. How many victims do we have so far? August looks at Harry for guidance, and Harry nods his permission.
4, but we anticipate more. The victim has shown up every 7 days for the past month.
Jesus.
Yes, with the most recent being 6 days ago, which is when I called for you. Enough is enough.
We're due a body, if our calculations are correct.
Harry clears his throat, twists the gold band on his finger.
I'd like you to concentrate on the latest victim for now. Male, 46 years of age, a general. He was one of our best. We owe him this.
I take a deep breath before I ask my next question, feeling immensely guilty before it even falls from my lips. Were all of them burned? I saw the ash in the charred ground. Each body has been burned very badly, yes. To the point where we cannot determine what wounds they sustained beforehand. Not even with magic? He shakes his head, exchanging a look with August, one I can't quite place. Not even with magic? So where would you like me to start? I almost expect them to tell me to figure it out myself, but Harry surprises me. But the most obvious of places would be the Ibeck. The what?
A curious pair are the Woodridge twins. They've taken up residence in the old church in the middle of town. I'm sure you've seen it.
I saw it all right, big, imposing, and very obviously dilapidated. Yes, I did notice it. It's quite hard to miss, but I assumed it was empty with it being in such a state of disrepair. We can only dream that it becomes vacant, unfortunately. August clenches their fists, slides the flicker of magic shimmering in their palm.
They're a plague upon this town, spouting their drivel and preaching to the dumb and ignorant. They're idiots.
Augustus! August takes a deep breath, their magic dissipating.
Right. Sorry. Well, I'm not fond of them, if you couldn't already tell.
Harry and I share a glance, and he smiles warmly, winking at me.
Oh, I think we got the picture. Now, as I said, I suggest you start with them. Just see what you make of them. You might need to play along with the woman. She tends to favor playing games. Anything to baffle you.
Have they already been questioned? Are they dangerous? Are they human? Harry shrugs, and August's annoyance at him becomes being so unbothered is obvious.
Yes, they're human, and yes, they've been questioned. Hunter Merriman saw to that, but she and the woman have a rather tumultuous relationship.
Their alibi is solid. They have a guard, a human who has connections to Clan and Casimir. She has no reason to support the Ibeck other than just doing her job. I'd still be interested to think what you hear of her, though.
So, in theory, they're harmless, but they do have the people's ear for some bizarre reason.
They prey on fear, and the town is infected with that right now. Be cautious of them. They certainly won't take kindly to you.
Oh, I think the General can handle them just fine. Have some faith, August.
August waves their hand dismissively, wandering over to a filing cabinet that's nestled in the far corner while muttering something under their breath. Warm hand touches my arm. We trust you, Raven.
Now, once you've spoken to them, I suggest just going where your gut tells you. There are plenty of other Lunarians for you to get to know, so just take today to really find your feet. I must meet with August and some of the other generals now, but please report back to us in the morning. Unless you find any damning evidence, of course, in which case, report back immediately.
I nod, glancing over at my superior, who's taken it upon themselves to dive headfirst into yet another pile of paperwork. Trust no one, right?
Not a bloody soul. Suspect everyone. Question everything.
I close the door behind me, leaving August and Harry with the discussion. I feel a bit overwhelmed, but ready. Ready to finally start my investigation and to hopefully end all of this chaos. I take a deep breath and straighten my clothes, feeling ruffled from both that initial heated encounter and the brief but semi-informative conversation with the Lieutenant General. As I turn to leave, I saw Piper leaning against the wall. She looks stoic, her gaze fixed on the floor, but she perks up when she sees me approaching. Oi, Raven! I can call you that, can't I? She makes a quiet, frustrated noise and closes her eyes. She shakes her head, exhaling sharply before she meets my gaze. Listen, I'm sorry you had to witness that exchange. I couldn't bring myself to leave without apologizing for my behavior both today and in the tavern the other day.
It's been a rough few weeks, and I often let my passion overrule any rational thoughts that I promise I am capable of having. It's unbecoming of me.
I'm taken aback by the vulnerability of her words. This isn't the Piper I thought I'd have to become accustomed to. Piper, it... She raises her hand to hold my words, calloused fingers curling into a fist.
Please, just let me apologize, all right? Then we can pretend I never acted like a complete asshole, and you can go and do your job.
So... She sticks out her hand, her daggers clinking noisily where they rest in the holster at her back.
The name's Piper Merriman.
She rolls her eyes, taking a deep breath before her next sentence.
Major Piper Merriman.
She throws me a wicked grin, and I can't help but laugh. I eagerly take her hand in my own and shake it firmly, my touch lingering a little longer than necessarily as I cling to her warmth. It's a pleasure, Hunter Merriman. I gather I'll be seeing you around, or I hope I will. A smirk hooks the corner of her mouth, one finger brushing as they slowly part, and there's something curious shining in her striking gaze.
Well, the town is terribly small. It would be quite hard to avoid me.
I shrug nonchalant. I can think of far worse things than bumping into you. She narrows her eyes, showing me playfully. The most subtle flash of color creeps across her freckled cheeks.
Oh, I don't know. I can be pretty scary if you ask nicely.
Nicely, you say? She purses her lips, her sapphire gaze sweeping over me like a caress.
Well, well. I think we're going to get along swimmingly.
She's quite an enigma, and I can feel my skin prickling under her heavy gaze. Certainly not an unwelcome feeling. She snorts a laugh, and the whole sound wholly inelegant, but charming nonetheless. What's so funny? She narrows her gaze, shifting from one foot to the other as if she has excess energy to dispel. Oh, nothing much. Just didn't quite you to be so... expect you to be quite so interesting, I suppose. I feign offense, and her answering laugh is magical. I'll just have to prove myself then, won't I? That you will. Piper glances at the clock before turning back to me with a roll of her eyes.
Ugh, I better get going. I have an inevitably worthless mission to get on with. People in this town are adept at mistaking common house cats for ghastly creatures. Must be something in the water.
I should go too. Yes, of course. Now off you go. Save Lunaris and all that. I'll see you around, Raven. She turns on her heel and heads for the exit, pulling her chestnut hair up into a messy bun as she goes. I gather my wits, checking my supplies and weapons, adjusting my armor. It's time to begin. It's a strangely beautiful day in Lunaris, regardless of the biting cold. The sky is clear. The cobbled streets are abuzz with the smiling faces of townsfolk strolling the local market with empty baskets and full pockets. There's certainly different vibes the last time I walked the street. No panic, no haste. As I draw nearer to the center of town, I see that imposing white building. Scarlet flags sway in the wind on the roof, but as I look closer, I see that they're tattered and dirtied. Twins may very well be human, but the way my stomach drops and twists as I approach the weathered wooden door tells me I might be shocked by what I find inside. I push open the heavy doors. Inside I'm met with snatches the breath from my lungs. This place is huge. Its dome ceiling was seemingly once decorated with an intricate painting, but the layers have cracked and peeled over time, and nothing more than the remnants of what looks like a starry night sky cling to it. The furniture is caked with a thick layer of dust, and the pews are in disarray and covered with strange etchings that look like they've been carved into the cheap wood with a blunt nail. There's a lot to take in, but I'm not here to scour this ruin for evidence. I'm here to talk to its inhabitants. The dread that's now firmly seated in the pit of my stomach turns violently. But it's something old. Something that lingers. I anticipate that I might find a lot more than I'm bargaining for if I truly desire, but I need to focus. I need to find the Woodridge twins. As if by magic, two pairs of startlingly bright blue eyes emerge from the shadows near the destroyed pulpit. Hello, Hunter. We were expecting you. To say they are unusual would be an understatement. They're not at all what I expected. I offer her a small, friendly smile, however forced it may be. Word travels fast in Lunaris. I'm Hunter Adams. She narrows her eyes to me, suspicious for the briefest of moments before she's smiling unnervingly again. Despite her best effort at apparently trying to be cute, it's terrifying. I'm Aurora, and this is my dear brother, Armorus. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Hunter Adams. I nod politely, not quite sure which of them I should be focusing my attention on. Armorus doesn't appear to enjoy talking, or maybe he is simply not permitted to. His overbearing sister is clearly the leader of the two. I study her steeled gaze, and she seems completely at ease. Aurora, can you tell me what you do here? Armorus looks relieved that I didn't focus my attention on him, his once stiff shoulders sagging. Aurora clears her throat, a delicate hand covering her mouth as she does so. Well, what exactly would you like to know? I clear my throat, trying to not be distracted by their unnatural stillness. Can you explain to me what you do and why? They share a look, and Armorus nods once under his sister's ice-cold gaze. Our purpose is simple. We spread the word of the night, of those that are oppressed and murdered in cold blood. And who exactly are the oppressed? She giggles, sound musical but edging on maniacal. The creatures, of course. I look at Armorus, and he nods and drops his gaze, color sweeping across his pale cheeks. Is my answer not satisfying, Hunter Adams? Surely you know that the institution you serve brings harm to innocents. The creatures you kill are nothing more than confused and lost, merely looking for salvation. I pause carefully, contemplating my response. My adult life has consisted of seeing bloodthirsty creatures trying to mindlessly murder innocent people, in turn trying to kill me as I protect them. I see no desire for salvation in that. I appreciate that there are creatures that don't intend to harm anyone, even some that are kinder than most humans. But... I smile and take a deep breath. But I cannot bring myself to understand how you can so blindly support the slaughter of your own people. Armorus frowns deeply, and I swear I see him shaking his head at me, but it's just subtle enough for his sister not to notice. Because humans are inferior and pathetic. We infest and corrupt the earth by dedicating our time and resources to ridding it of the only things that give our wretched species any hope. She inhales sharply, calming herself and brushing her hands over the front of her skirt. So, Hunter Adams, to answer your question, we are here to protect the creatures, just as you are here to destroy them. I'm sure you're very aware of the recent murders in the area. Can you tell me anything that may have been used to my investigation? Aurora steals her gaze, and blinking, her fingers clasped tightly in front of her. We saw nothing, and we have an alibi. I look at Armorus, startled that he actually spoke. His voice is strangely soft and comforting. Regardless, his words sound practiced and rehearsed. I'm just gonna use the same voice for the two of them, if you don't mind. He looks nervous, like he'd rather be anywhere else but here, and his eyes keep darting at the door behind me. Nothing at all. You're stationed right here beside the graveyard where the last hunter's body was discovered. You're telling me you didn't hear a thing? He was brutally murdered, set alight, and burned to ash, and yet he didn't scream or call for help? Aurora's lips curl at the corner, her eyes turning dark. My brother speaks the truth, Hunter Adams. Question us all you like, but we've been through this with your insufferable predecessor. Just like Harry said, they apparently had an ironclad alibi, but my suspicion does not waver. I nod once, noticing Armorus' gaze burning into me, and though I cannot gauge how he's feeling, my gut tells me he has something to say. Something he wouldn't dare to with his sister by his side. Like he's scared. I'm starting to feel like Harry sent me here just to unnerve me. Surely he knew this is what I would be faced with. I still have little to nothing to work with here, and as the twins continue staring me down, I think about his parting words. Suspect everyone, question everything. Truly have nothing else to say regarding the situation. Aurora stands firm, her lips curling into that wolfish grin once more. Not a thing. It was ever so wonderful to make your acquaintance, though. Truly. Do stop by again. Our doors are open to everyone. We're more than happy to accommodate you should your agency need to question us for a third time. Armorous gives me a look again, and I wonder if it would be possible to somehow get him alone. I have a feeling I get a lot more out of him than I have from her. Thank you, Aurora. Armorous. On my way out, I see a small, neatly On my way out, I see a small, neatly wrapped package sitting on the doorstep. I bend down to check the label, and written on it in elegant script are the words Zesewa, and Armorous's name printed with a small heart. Maybe it's... no. Armorous. I may not know what it means, but I know demonic language when I see one. Just as I suspected, there might be a lot more to Armorous Wood which meets the eye. Alright, I think we're gonna leave things here for now. If you're enjoying the video, if you enjoy the series, what have you, feel free to leave a comment about what you like about it, what you don't like, whatever. So long as you're not being a hole about it, I'm fine with it. And maybe leave a like and a subscribe if you're really enjoying this series and you want to see more. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.